Hi folks, we're here in the two-man queues. We've won the die roll and we've kept this 7 card hand. We're on the play and we're going to get things rolling here. So hopefully I can play fast enough to take charge. Now is this burn or is it going to be a creature deck? It is burn. Ew. Well, as far as we can tell it's burn. Now I could leave up accumulated knowledge and that might be even better for me to do. However, I want to try and get some counter spells to stop burn. So I think I'm going to get my blue source first. We're not very favored to win this game 1. At least this will be a quick match one way or the other. Okay, there's Marauders. I'm just going to do this now. We're going to end up flame slashing that, obviously. I'll hit F6. We'll take a bunch of damage. And yeah, we're going to flame slash and leave up AK this time. We're representing counterspell. We're not getting the life gain immediately, but we are going to see more cards thanks to the AK, so that might help a little bit. I'm glad he's so creature dense because our best chance here is to get a Whirlwind Adept down and try and race that way. There's a deep analysis. I guess I'm going to Flame Slash and Cliffs, leaving up Bolt. The only other thing I could do is play Expanse instead, but we actually do want to find an untapped land for the Adept. So I hope it's another Spark Elemental. Perfect. So he probably doesn't have anything, but I'll try and get him to throw a little bit of heat here on the Elemental. This is going as good as it could possibly be going for us, based on what we have in our hand. So I don't imagine he's got like an Apostle's Blessing or anything. So it's block step. I guess he's going to bolt me. And if that's all he has, it means he's very spell dense. We're going to just have to slam this, I think. And we're going to have to do as much damage to him as possible. But like I said, this is not a very favorable matchup game 1. Our best chance is really to find something, is to have enough sideboard stuff game 2 to make a huge difference. Okay. So I'm at 10. He has 4 cards. I mean, he could easily go some variation of Bolt, some variation of Bolt, Fire Blast. So I'm going to thin out lands from the deck. We have a bunch of islands, so we're going to thin that because that's what we have the highest chance of hitting. And then this is going to trigger Whirlwind Adept. This is why we're sequencing all of this in such a way. Harvest Pyre is not really going to do anything. Flashing back Deep Analysis is probably not going to do anything. I may actually end up pyring my own Whirlwind Adept for 0 in order to get extra damage through. Ooh, okay. Well, Harvest Pyre would have been nice there. Guess we might be in trouble here. He might have a Lava Spike and a Fire Blast. He's just going for it. I'm going to sit for a second. Okay, that only does 1, so I'm not going to sit. Yeah, we've got a real problem here. I mean, it's basically impossible for him not to have lethal at the moment. So I think I'm going to attack, Harvest Pyre my guy for 0, and play Jeskai Sage. Knocking myself down to 3 does not make any sense. So, and we want to hit him for increments of 5. That way we can try and kill faster here. And I think I'm going to hold that land just to make it extra bluffy that we actually have something. I think he's going to finish us off, though. I can't imagine him not being able to do so. That's probably even a Searing Blaze, which maybe draws us a card if he gives us the opportunity. Okay, I'm just going to wait a second. Okay, hopefully he lets us draw the card. Nope. Okay, so that's game one. We're going to have to come back and win 2 games. This is not one of our best matchups. Basically, this one in Hexproof, I don't imagine to be great. This one's going to be much more winnable than Hexproof, though. So I think we want to take out some of our creature kill, though we saw he's very creature heavy, so we're going to end up leaving some of it in. We may even cut Deep Analysis here for 3 of these guys, because we only get one end of the Deep Analysis. When we start hitting ourselves, it's not so great. Now, I've talked about Spreading Seas a number of times for this matchup. It should be quite effective in having the amount, or cutting into thirds or a quarter the amount of burn that they can throw at us a turn. So that's why we want to play that. Echoing Truth, I don't see being too useful. So out of all the other cards we have left, I think Firebolt might be the best because it helps us race. Don't see Echoing Truth doing much for us. So I guess we'll play a Firebolt over Deep Analysis. That leaves us with 4, 8, 12, 4, 8, 11, 13, 14, 17 draw spells. That seems adequate. We do have Electrickery, which can hit a Spark Elemental. Is that better than Firebolt? We have 3 with 3 Hydroblast, 4 Bolt for the Spark Elemental. Maybe I'll just play Harvest Pyre instead. Yeah, because that can hit all of his creatures potentially, and we definitely will play first. We need that tempo advantage. Really hesitant to keep this. The only thing that really holds it together is the fact that we have Preordain and Hydroblast. It's a very on the fence hand, but I am going to keep it. Preordain is such a savior type card, so I am going to keep this one and hopefully Preordain into a dual land. Anything that's not a dual land has to go, so we're going to bottom both. And that's a land at least, so that might be beneficial here. See what he does up front. Guessing another elemental, yeah. Seems to me he would want to deploy these as quickly as possible, because the longer he waits, the more likely it is for me to have lands up to stop it. So we just need a blue land, and we just found it. So I actually really like our chances now because we have so much interaction here. We should be able to slow him down long enough to really get something going. So I'm actually just going to counter this with the Hydroblast. Yeah. We don't want to take any undue damage from this, so we'll do it like that. So we have Harvest Pyre, and for dudes, I think we're just going to pass for now. If all goes well, we might find another land for Jeskai Sage with Counterspell backup. So I'm just going to counter this. The idea is to just counter the burn spell they throw at you. They can play the waiting game just as well as we can. In fact, they can do it better because they know what they're holding, and we don't know what they're holding. So, and the other thing is the cards are so interchangeable most of the time, as you can see. Had he just cast Lava Spike and we let it resolve, he could have just passed the turn. Then we would have taken 3 damage for no reason, and wasted all of our mana. In this way, we got rid of one of his cards, forced him to tap out, so we know that we can make some plays on our own here, and it's kind of how things go. So 3 mana. It's kind of weird. 4 mana. Oh, okay, that guy resolves because we can kill him, and that's it, huh? So I can Harvest Pyre or I can Flame Slash. If I Harvest Pyre, I get to guaranteed play Sage next turn. I think I'm just going to Flame Slash though. Harvest Pyre keeps us protected against Spark Elemental, and as we see, we end up finding a Bolt anyway, but no worries. So we want to interact with them as much as we possibly can. Keldon Marauders. That's going to deal 2 damage to me, but I think I'm okay with that. And I'll go ahead and Bolt here. You could make a case for Harvest Pyre, but I think because we're guaranteed using half of our mana next turn, we're not really saving any mana with the Bolt. Yeah, we find a land anyway, but I guess now we are saving mana with the Bolt, but in any scenario other than that we just saw, we wouldn't have been. So yeah, definitely countering that. And he's probably going to Searing Blaze me, but... So this is how you beat Burn. I'm not saying we're going to win this game, but if we are to win this game, this is how you do it. You counter everything they play. You counter the Burn spell they throw at you. And it looks like Whirlwind Adept is on his way, so... He may be flooded. Actually, I think at least one of his cards is Fire Blast, because he was F6'd through our turn, essentially. Forgotten Cave, that was his draw. I think one of his cards is Fire Blast. And now, maybe 2 of his cards are Fire Blast, because he's tapping everything. Rift Bolt. Oh, he just... I see. So I'm going to save the Harvest Pyre. And then if we deprive, we'll deprive the Cliffs to get a life back. He's going to go for Searing Blaze here. So we countered enough of his stuff that it looks like we're going to be okay. I mean, we dealt with all of his repeatable sources of damage. 2 Curses, an Alchemist, and a Keldon Marauders. Yeah, definitely deprive any semblance of a burn spell here. Looks like it's going to be Searing Blaze, so Fire Blast to me. Yeah, I'll definitely just counter that. This not only gains 4 life, it effectively gains 5 life. Now his last card might be Searing Blaze, but I'm okay with that. Okay, and we drew Counter Spell. Pretty much the best draw possible. Still just going to do 5 to him. I could end up doing 7 with the Harvest Pyre, but I can also cast the Harvest Pyre next turn if I want. Maybe the Harvest Pyre was better, I'm not sure. So this game is looking good. We're going to be on the draw next game. That's not going to be too wonderful. Did he play a land? Turn 9. So I can just target my own Jeskai Sage with a Harvest Pyre for 0. I'll still go to 9, but that's okay. He's going to minimum 4. So, not a big deal. Okay. He's at 9, I'm at 9. Our position is much better than his, though. And this should help us possibly win on the spot. I think we just need one more trigger, right? And accumulated knowledge will do it. If, yeah, there's no reason to hold back, so let's just go ahead and draw. Yeah, that's 9. Okay, and we don't need to show him that. He's going to fire blast my guy. Yeah, so I can't really save it, so I guess I'll just take the card. But he's still doomed. There's really nothing. And we even get a land drop, so we can counter something if we want. But yeah, there's nothing he can do here. Cool. So, it's going to be kind of a nail biter here. I'm going to sip some water while I can. The key to this matchup is that early interaction. As you can see, it's still that ended up not being such a close game because we ended at 9 life, but it can still end up being quite close. I think this is basically our optimal sideboarding, so I'm gonna keep it as is, and hopefully we just have something really awesome in hand. And this is quite good. So we have both copies of Spreading Seas, which may actually just screw him up. Certainly will keep. And if I draw an untapped land, that would be just, basically the best case scenario. So he's leading on the elemental once more. We are going to be a little behind on tempo because I am going to go Guildgate rather than Island. But if he goes Marauders or Guy, okay, this might be good. If this is his only land, then I'm gonna seize it up. Yeah, I think it's worth I think it's worth chancing it. So let's go ahead and go for it. And that may have just time walked him basically. So that's not the most. Yeah, I'm going to actually play this one. That's not the most effective or smart. It's not the smartest thing to ever do. But because of the scenario and because we're at a high life total and we have a Hydro Blast to stop something like a curse and we have a Flame Slash to stop whoever else, I thought it was doable. Now, should I go Counterspell or Hydro Blast? I don't actually think it matters here. I'll just use all my mana this turn and go with the Counterspell. Then I have the second Spreading Seas, so that might be enough to just really slow him down. Even with just the one Spreading Seas, again, we're cutting the amount of burn spells he can play in half. Now we got the second one, and that's going to be even more frustrating. So again, I don't know why he keeps doing that. He does not appear to know what Spreading Seas does here. Okay, another Counterspell. I'll gladly hold on to that. If he just makes no play, I may be tempted just to play Chronarch and get back a Counterspell. I'm actually kind of okay with that. I have so much counter magic, but yeah, let's just do it. And then basically the rest of the game will be holding up mana and counter magic, so not too bad. Yeah, this is going great for us. I don't know if I could have drawn it up any better than this. This is best case scenario. And he still can do nothing. I think he's trying to just cheat the system here somehow. And this is an embarrassment of riches. Nothing we have his next 5 plays locked down. There's basically no way he can win at this point. I mean, there's certainly a possibility we can lose this, but it's a very, very, very low possibility. Now, I think I'm just going to go ahead and pitch the Harvest Pyre. You know what? I can actually try and draw a land or something this turn. We have so much permission ready to go that it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'll actually continue to pitch the Harvest Pyre here. Seems fine. I can draw 2 if I want. I don't have to. It actually doesn't really matter. I'll go ahead and do it just to get further into the deck, though. Again, this is an embarrassment of riches, and we may win the game on the back of just this guy. So now we can definitely pitch Ravings. We did find a land. So yeah, we can just attack and then play the land and pitch Ravings. And looky here, we are just getting him to discard constantly. And we just have any answer for any problem. So he did find a mountain, but it's just going to be it's just way too late. So we drew all our permission, and that's one thing you can look forward to doing against Burn, and if you want to win. And we drew our 2 spreading seas, and they were the most effective spreading seas in the history of Izzet versus Burn. Okay, so we'll just keep plodding along here. I'll keep pitching Desperate Ravings. I don't need to cast them. I have essentially the perfect hand, so Desperate Ravings doesn't really improve the quality of our hand whatsoever. Boom. And he didn't do anything on our end step either. So it looks like he's trying to hit me with a Searing Blaze. I've got the Dispel lined up for that. And this guy's going to go pretty far. He's likely not going to get us all the way there, but he's going to go pretty far. I'm willing to take 2 damage off of this dude. Everything else I will counter, though. This is just to get our Flame Slash going, essentially. And it is turn 10. That is further than any Burn deck wants to go. He does still have a bunch of spells, so there is that. But I'm fairly comfortable with how this is going. Yep, so I'll just Flame Slash this guy. Whirlwind Adept is good. I am going to wait at least 1 turn to play him, though. So then I can have double Hydroblast or Hydroblast Dispel. And, yeah, that's pretty sweet. Boom. Alright, got him to 10. This guy's done half of our job for us. So what is this? Needle Drop, and I think I'll just use a Dispel on that. And then for his turn, I'm going to try and use the 2 mana counters again, so I can play Whirlwind Adept, some 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually, I need an extra land, but hopefully I'll have 2 lands up, so I can play both of those. I'll hold back on the Deprive here. So this guy I'll just counter. And looks like he's going to counter back. So I'll just counter again. And we're pretty close here to victory. Okay, so I am going to play the Adept this turn and leave up Hydroblast. And like I said, this is about as good as we could have drawn it up. He's facing lethal next turn if I just cast Ravings on him. Or target my Adept with Hydroblast. That would be a fun way to win also. But probably go with the Ravings. So we're at 13. I don't really fear anything at this point. We may not even counter what he does because I'm pretty sure we can get the kill. I'm basically just going to protect this guy. I think that's all I need to do. I mean, he has a very narrow opening to do something, but at best, I think he's going to keep himself alive. I mean, we could even let this guy die and just hit him twice with the Adept and leave up our 3 counters. That's probably fine, too. I think basically any way you slice it, we have this game in the bag. Yeah, I'm going to let that go. Not a concern. Needle drop. Yes. Okay. So he found the mountain. Though I don't know if that's going to get him anywhere. He might be very well be holding 2 Fire Blasts, but he can only use 1 because of our Spreading Seas, which I think is what he's doing. I just want to make sure that's true. Yeah, these are islands. These are islands. So, what he might do is use a 1-mana spell to try and stop Chronarch. He's just throwing it at my face. That'd put me to 6. I don't think there's anything on the map that can beat me, so I'm just going to let it happen. And then I will preordain is good enough too. Oh, I was thinking this guy had prowess too for some reason. This will be good enough as well. Any way you slice it, we're basically going to win. So, yeah, I'll just keep them both, I guess. And we'll attack. We'll play Desperate Ravings, and that should be all. We should have at least 2 counters still left in hand. Yeah, we'll have at least 3 because we only discard 1 card. So anything he does here gets countered. I mean, we've got it all. I can power up Whirlwind Adept by itself to kill him, so... But we've got more than enough here. Still. Okay, pitched a Hydroblast, but gained a counterspell, so no, not a huge difference there. And that is the match. Really liked how that went, particularly Game 3. So like I said, the Game 1 is going to be your toughest game. And then with the proper lines of play and the proper sideboarding, it gets much better. Now, I'm not trying to jinx anything, but if we do run into Hexproof, it's basically a forfeited matchup. So that's the other one that you might see a lot in the 2-man queues that could be a real problem for this deck. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching.